Decisions. So welcome, dear Father Chetan. We have members, all the women, the resource team, especially the resource team is here, and all the members of the Women Commission from all the dioceses. So we are 116. So we welcome Father Chetan with a clap, which he can't hear, only we can show with our hands. Thank you, Father. Please continue, Father. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to this session. I thank Sister Lidwin. Am I audible, Sister Lidwin?
Yes, Father. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you, Sister Lidwin, for inviting me. Without wasting much time, I just want to get into this. As she gave a very brief introduction, this methodology is devised by a cardinal called Cardine, Joseph Cardine. When church labor movements many years ago, this man, Cardinal Cardine, he worked with labor class. He did not with this labor class, and he applied this methodology in his personal life. Later, he met the Pope to him, and then comes the first document from the Vatican on labor. And Pope writes using this methodology, and since then, methodology of church. All the popes, even now, Pope Francis, whenever he writes a document, letter, they always use this methodology: see, judge, and act. I'll share the screen, the text. I will also in between say a few things and we will have. And if you have any questions, if you have not followed, you can. This methodology is called review of life. And that's why I said, not just for a session or for women's commission or youth commission or for young people to follow. It is for every person, every human being. If you follow this methodology, life, that is why this is called review of life. I think Socrates, one of the famous philosophers, said, an unexamined life is not worth living. And the methodology helps us to examine our life and then look forward with. So I will share my screen. You can follow. Okay. Can see my screen now?
Yes, Father. Yeah. Review of life. Yes.
Then how do I go? Okay. So what you see is, see, judge, I explained to you, these are three terms that you should always remember. See, judge means not judging someone. It is in Hindi, what you would call is parakna. And then comes act. Yeah. Second one is also called in Hindi janchna. Karyarat hona, yeah, acting. Now, in between, there is one more thing that you will see in a while, evaluation. See, after you finish the process, you see, you judge, and you act, then there is evaluation, and evaluation will give you more points to see again. So that is how the cycle goes around. If you have a question like, where do we begin? We can begin it in. Sometimes we judge, sometimes we start acting and then evaluating and seeing what is happening. Introspect the reality with one's eyes and all other senses, seeing, viewing, watching reality and effects, knowing the reality, responding to the reality. In simple words, you go around, if you don't see, then you cannot reflect or meaningful. There is a reality that is in the society, in the church, in our own. We should be open to see that reality. Most of us, that's why Pope Francis also we are blind at times. We don't want to see anything. Our young people are withdrawn today. Our men and women, we are so withdrawn. We are always with our gadgets, mobiles. We don't want to see this happening. You ask young people today, they don't read, of course, they don't read newspaper for news. They just are busy with their own personal entertainment and has have time to see what government is doing, what our church, what people around us are doing, what our neighbors are doing. And that's why a lot of things happen in our neighborhood. We are not aware. And then when you come to know through somebody much later, you are shocked. For example, as we proceed, answer the questions like in journalism, we always say why and also how. That is how we, it is, for example, you are church, and on the way there is a crowd gathered. Now you can just go to church, but you can also stand there and ask these questions: what happened, when, why? And when you ask these questions, you will find an answer because reality is that is what the Good Samaritan Pope Francis explains that in Fratelli Tutti, what many who just passed by, they did not see the reality. They were busy. But one man who saw the incident and asked these questions, and then he could do. Then he reflected, and then he acted. He took him to the hospital, and we know the narration of the story. When and where did that happen are the details that will give you that way immediate cause. If accident took place, why? Maybe somebody was speeding or there was something else. So the cause of that, the reality, and who are the people responsible. So these are the questions. When you ask, you find an answer. How it affects people, nature, and there are many other things, flora and fauna. Understand the problem. Who, what are the causes, and what are the consequences, remote causes, by going through these kind of incidents, your life experience with regard to this reality, similar other events we need to share. Now, when you meet, especially for your meetings, what do we talk there? If you do not know the reality, you will be lost. Like for example, election commission has announced elections in Delhi. Not know that elections are going to take place. That means I have not seen the reality. I do not know who are the key people here. I do not know because I'm least bothered about this election. And I'm called to say I'm sitting with some people and they're discussing. I will never contribute anything there. Now that is the problem with a good number of people. Second part of this methodology is judge. जज मतलब परखना. तो पहला था देखना. क्या देखना है? जो है, जो समाज में हो रहा है, जो हमारे पड़ोस में हो रहा है, जो अखबारों में हम पढ़ते हैं या पेपर या फिर टीवी, वो देखना जरूरी है. अब किस तरीके से हम देखते हैं, क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ, कब हुआ, कौन जिम्मेदार है, ये सब सवाल हमें पूछना है. पूछने लगते हैं तो हमें पता चलता है कि हो क्या रहा है, समाज में क्या हो रहा है, कलीसिया में क्या हो. तो दैट इज हाउ वी डू द फर्स्ट पार्ट. तो उसी चीज को हम अपने जीवन में भी हम अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. कहने का मतलब है जब कुछ हुआ लाइफ में, कुछ गलत हुआ, बैठ के हम सवाल करने लगेंगे कि ये क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ, इसकी वजह क्या है, तो फाइंड एन आंसर. सेकेंड वन इज परखना. दैट इज, इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड रिफ्लेक्ट. Judging. We are not judging somebody what they do. Judging is when I see example. Let's take the first example of accident. Now I start judging. Must be some real problem. Every second day I see an accident happening there. कि ये हो क्यों रहा है वहां पर एक्सीडेंट. Maybe there is there is something that causes accident every time uh, some animals are around that place, or maybe is full of this one potholes, or वो काफी या वो रोड अच्छा नहीं है या वहां पर जानवर बैठे रहते हैं. there may be no evidence why that accident takes place. Now that is how I start judging. I start reflecting. Personal reflection, that means values involved in the incident. Personal evaluation, that is, what are the here? There are many values that we need to learn. We will come to that while part of this problem and reality. See, I also I live in that neighborhood, but I have not done anything. That is my reflection, and that is the value of service that I add. If I am a good neighborhood, I want to do something, I take a few young people and then try to that place, or I may find a place for those animals if they are around. There is no signboard. I try to, I maybe I ask the government or municipality or myself, I put up a board there. There can be many things. Now that is where the value comes. That is my, I mean, no need. I don't want people to tell me, but I reflect. I am asked to do something. So that is the service. So I become also part of this problem and reality. And how do I value this? What is my reaction response to the reality? We will give few examples and you will then understand how I become part of anything that me. Now the reality is that I become part of that reality only when I want to get. If I am for myself, I don't want to go out, then I remain. I remain. I don't become part of that community or that problem, and then there is no reflection at all. Here we can also add a theological reflection. Intervention in this incident. What was God's plan for mankind? What would Jesus do in this? Respond to the reality based on the scripture. It is like this. Let's example. An accident took place, somebody died in that accident. Now there is loss in the family, only son of that family has died. Now reality for us to see. Now you start reflecting. Okay. While reflecting, you just ask this question: if Jesus were to be around now, how would Jesus handle the situation? What would he do? How would he go to that home? Say that mother or father or other family members. Now, to do that, you need to reflect. Then, what are the values there? If Jesus, you think would say, then why can't I do also that same way? That is how we the situation. It is like this. No, we are always taught. One side you have scripture, the Bible. Other side you have the newspaper. Newspaper gives you reality, a mind to reflect, and the scripture will try to balance. It is both. We need to balance how we go ahead in life. And in church also, we can have a inputs, personalization of incident. If I was part of this problem, or if affected, how would I react or respond? Now, self reflections. If you have a meeting of some people, what other people say about this particular problem, and our strategies to address the problem and possibly as a cell, group, or movement. For us, it is our commission, like you are for training, you give training to other people. So when you come together to reflect what other person says about, see, our own perception is different, different. How I think about this particular problem is not the way you think. So when two of us sit together and think, we will be able to find a better answer. So that is how we need to judge. परखने का मतलब है जब हम को देखते हैं कोई भी अ, अ, समस्या, जैसे एक्सीडेंट का हमने, सिर्फ एक्सीडेंट नहीं, कुछ भी हो, जैसे ड्रग एडिक्शन हो, पोर्नोग्राफी, फैमिली इश्यूज, समस्याएं हैं जिसके बारे में हम जब सोचने लगते हैं, हम परखने लगते हैं कि ये इसमें इसमें कौन लोग हैं जो इस चीज को गलत तरीके से में या घर पे या कलीसिया में, जब हम तीन चार लोग बैठ के विचार विमर्श करते हैं, तो हमें पता चलता है कि यहाँ पर कोई ना कोई है जिसकी वजह से ये समस्या, दैट इज कॉल्ड परखना, या हम एक दूसरे से पता करना शुरू करते हैं। हम ये सवाल करते हैं कि अगर मैं इस समस्या में शामिल हूँ, तो मैं इस समस्या को हल करने के लिए मेरा क्या योगदान मैं दे सकता। दूसरी बात, अगर प्रभु यीशु इस वक्त यहाँ पे होते, जैसे 2000 थे यहाँ पे होते, तो वो क्या करते, ये हमें सोचना पड़ेगा। जब वो थे 2000 साल पहले, जब वो सा हो या फिर जकेयुस हो, काफी लोगों से उनकी मुलाकात हुई। ही मेट सिनर्स, प्रोस्टिट्यूट और टैक्स कलेक्टर्स, ये सब रियलिटी हैं। उस वक्त उन्होंने, जब उस औरत को लेकर आए, वो पत्थर मार के उसको, रियलिटी था। तो उस वक्त प्रभु यीशु ने किस तरीके से लोगों से व्यवहार किया, कौन। नाउ दैट इज हाउ यू नीड टू थिंक, दैट इज द रिफ्लेक्शन। जीसस ने क्या किया, वो हम जानते हैं, हम बाइबल में पढ़े, वो लिखने लगे। उन्होंने फिर उनको बोला कि जिसने कोई पाप नहीं, सबसे पहला पत्थर वो फेंक दे। तो एक एक करके चले गए। अगर आज भी इंसिडेंट ऐसा होता है हमारे घर पे, हमारे पड़ोस में, कलीसिया में, तो हम किस तरीके, हम कलीसिया में समस्या को हम हल करने के लिए अपना योगदान दे सकते हैं। प्रभु यीशु होते, वो क्या करते। अगर प्रभु यीशु हम चाहते हैं कि ऐसा करते, तो हम रहा है कि हम उस चीज को क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं। वी नीड टू थिंक इन दैट लाइन। एंड द लास्ट वन इज एक्ट, का मतलब है कार्यरत होना। सिर्फ सोचना, विचार करना काफी नहीं है, मीटिंग करना काफी नहीं है, देखना समझना ही काफी नहीं है। समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, हम सोच विचार करते हैं, उसके बाद हमें कुछ करना है। दैट इज पर्सनल एक्शन फॉर सेल्फ चेंज, कि मैं सबसे पहले खुद को चेंज करूं। अगर मैं, लेट्स गो बैक टू द एग्जांपल ऑफ दैट एक्सीडेंट। अगर मैं देखता हूँ एक्सीडेंट, फिर मैं सोच विचार करता हूँ, तो मैंने अपने लिए क्या डिसीजन लिया। सबसे पहले एक्शन, कि व्हेन आई ड्राइव स्लो, व्हेन आई road, I walk always on the footpath safe. That is my personal action plan. Our attitudes, thinking, feeling, openness, personal transformation. So that is very important. It action towards influencing the other. जब मैं कुछ करने लगता हूँ, मैं दूसरों को भी इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता हूँ। जैसे मान वो वीडियो देखा होगा आपने कि सड़क पे एक बहुत बड़ा गिरता है, बारिश हो रही होती है, तो सब हॉर्न बजाते हैं रोड के दोनों साइड में। होता क्या है, एक छोटा बच्चा आके उसे धक्का मारने लगता है। उसको देख के बहुत सारे लोग आते हैं, और जब सब मिल जाते हैं देन दे आर एबल टू मूव दैट ट्री और दैट स्टोन whatever. That is how we need to influence other people, because when I start acting, I influence a lot of other people. Plan for group action and follow up. I think if you EC, Basic Ecclesial Community, they also have this system. At the end of the meeting, to have an action plan as a group, what are we going to do? And next Sunday, when you come back, you evaluate it. What we need to do is, if as Women's Commission or Youth Commission, as have one meeting, you discuss that we should do this, and then as group, what you can do, you can always have two action plans. हम खुद क्या कर सकते हैं उस सिचुएशन को ठीक, या अगर हमारा ग्रुप है, हमारा कमीशन है, हम 10-12 लोग हैं, तो ग्रुप में हम क्या कर सकते हैं, डिसाइड कर सकते हैं। एंड देन कम्स इवेल्युएशन। नाउ इन द मेथोडोलॉजी हमारे पास तीन तीन क्या बोलते हैं, सेक्शंस हैं। सी, जज एंड एक्ट। देखना, रखना, या गैरत होना। इसके बाद इवेल्युएशन भी जरूरी है। सिवन cycle of seeing, judging, and then acting, then you come back and then evaluate how did that the activity for an effective action, what are the results achieved, कुछ अच्छा हुआ। Example, you have done something now, you helped with your group road, put some stones or something to level it. Now then the result is there to see. Now there are no accidents there. Now there is no around that place. Or whether you failed in your plan, you did something and everything was back to square one. So follow up for a better action. Now to evaluate, you will know जो हमने किया है काम, एक्शन, क्या वो ठीक था, हमने गलत किया। अगर हमने ठीक किया तो शुड फील हैप्पी अबाउट इट। अगर हमसे हो गई, देन वी हैव टू फॉलो अप फॉर बेटर एक्शन, कि हम दोबारा कि क्या कर सकते हैं हम। अगेन द होल, when while evaluating, you see the problem again, then you reflect again, and then have a plan to change the situation. Finally, have you become issue? Most of the times we are not. That is bad part of our living. Nobody actually knows the issue. We sometimes speak in, we have never read, we have not even given a little thought that issue. So unless I'm aware, that's why the C part is also called awareness. Awareness is very important. Have you understood its causes and effects? Reflection, दूसरा part है, judge. Have you reflected enough to find the and effects? Have you felt, क्या आपको लगा कि कुछ लगा कि हाँ मुझे कुछ चाहिए था? It is like every day there are hundreds of accidents. Now, end of 2024, in the month of December, there were two plane crashes. Hundreds of people died because there was a reality. It came in the newspaper, television, but hardly anybody knows about it. I didn't even feel bad. I didn't even say, I can't do much. But I never got involved. Getting involved, reflection means I also take part in their pain of those families. Many are now, recently there was, I don't know, a tunnel somewhere, people I mean, they were trapped inside. We read, no, we read a lot of stories. हम पढ़ते हैं, सुनते हैं, पर हमारे अंदर कुछ नहीं होता है. That is why, no, that is hard-hearted we have become. हमारे पड़ोस में कुछ हो रहा है, कोई गरीब है जिसके पास खाने हैं, वो सड़क पे सोता है, पर हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Now that is how hard come. That is why this whole methodology has to be applied in every that we got your opinion about it. Do you have any opinion about it? क्यों हुआ? Like if you are in Delhi, some of you, there is pollution, solid, terrible it is. Everybody, that is reality. I'm just giving you another example. एक एग्जाम्पल मैं दे रहा हूँ. दिल्ली में इस वक्त बहुत है, तो सरकार के नए नए नियम आते हैं कि आज ये गाड़ी चलानी है, कंस्ट्रक्शन बंद करना है, और काफी और चीजें हैं. आई एम लिस्ट बॉदर्ड, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. मैं तो अभी भी हम गाड़ी चला के जाते हैं, डीजल गाड़ी चला के जाते हैं, हम पोल्यूशन का कोई ध्यान. गाड़ी से धुआं निकलता है, तो कोई पुलिस वाला मुझे पकड़ता है, मैं उसको 1,000 रुपये देता हूँ, फिर चला जाता हूँ. Now that is how I become very indifferent to a situation because involved. But if I am a citizen with lot of concerns and involved situation, and it will pain me looking at the whole smoke, and it pains me. I feel bad also. Then I take care, my personal action, because I reflect it is bad for my health. That is my reflection. And then when I start acting, first do no all that is possible not to spread pollution, throwing garbage here, uh, using like burning things in the open. There are things that we can do personally, using vehicle when it is not required. There are many things. Respond and then find out how I get involved with a situation or a problem, and then how I reflect, and then how I start acting on it, and then how I come back and evaluate. So that is in brief about judge and act. The other terms are awareness, reflection, action, evaluation. So keep these 4 points in mind. Awareness, that is see, reflection is to judge, action is to act, and when the three things are done, then we evaluating. So just to conclude, this methodology is applied in everything that we do, everything. When we have our programs, we send students. I'll give you an example how we conduct it. Okay, I take care of student ministry. Students come. The first day of our program, we send them out to slums, or not necessarily slums. Okay, reality is not only the dirt and poverty. Reality other way around. Richness, lavish life is also reality. So sometimes our mind says, "Oh, reality means poverty and hunger," and of course that is one side of it. Other side, where people are very lavish, wasting, extravagant spending. Yeah, people are sent to malls, streets, and places where you see garbage, such things, different areas, 3, 4, 5 areas. They go, they see the reality on the, they just see, they meet people, they ask questions. What happened to you? If some, they sit there, they ask, why are you doing this? Do you have children? Now that is the ask questions. Who is responsible for this situation? And some of them are very say, I remember in Bangalore, one lady was begging near Don Bosco Church, Lingarajpura, And our children, three of them went there. They gave her something to eat first, old lady. And then they asked, where do you live? They said, here only outside. I sleep, drink some water and sleep. Why don't you go home? Now, why, where, when? Questions we need to ask. And children were taught. They asked. And they were shocked. They came to know she had four sons and they are all living in flats. And you see the reflection. When they came back, that evening we had a little prayer and I conduct that prayer. They were in tears. I told them, see, if there is some mother there out, her sons are not taking care of reality. And that reality can be seen in our own homes. Others here, I know how, I mean, what is the reality that we live in. We don't have to talk about poverty there, hunger there, giving, charity. I'm not saying that. This methodology first had in my personal life, then my family. Whether everything is fine in my family, my and do something in the church and society. That is first fix our problems. But the students, they were all crying because they knew the reality at home, their own home. Their sometimes parents not living in unity. There are husband is drunkard or father, their father is drunkard. Mother goes out and all sorts of problems. They have their friends, that is the reality. Most of us have to live with. Now, then comes a reflection. Now, these children are taught, at least when you get there, don't do that to your father, your mother. When you get married, don't do that to your children. Then, these are values I told you in the second respecting, honoring somebody, listening, service, helping somebody. These are values. What would Jesus do to this woman? He would sit and maybe spend some time. That is how I think. Spend some time, talk to her, and then, if possible, would take her to his place. Possible. Now, that is how children think, or that is how you should think. What will Jesus do? Okay, Jesus would. So I can also do that way. I can help her to find a place somewhere. So that is how it. You see, your reflection comes. Now, these are not separate compartments. So I see, done. No, process can see, judge. Sometimes the whole process can take a month, maybe a year. It depends on the situation each time. And then what did these kids plan? Cannot do much. They cannot do much because it's only a program. Now, what is when they go back to their own diocese home, they will see in their one who is very poor, who is not taken care of. They will then of their parents, parish priests, or some NGO and help such people. That is how we ask them to respond. One last example, and then I'll wind up. We have questions. You know what we did during one of just to teach this methodology? Give 500 rupees to 25 youth, 500 rupees each. And I told you go around in the city and spend this money for someone else who is in need. Now, to do that, you need to see the reality. You go under the flyovers, you go to slums, you go to market, you have those telawalas. तो 500 रुपया दिया लोगों को, युवाओं को, और उनको बोला कि तुम जाओ और ये 500 रुपया किसी और के लिए तुम अच्छा करो। और कोई फोटो नहीं लेना है, सेल्फी नहीं लेना है, कुछ नहीं लेना है, प्रूफ नहीं चाहिए। तो हमारे युवा गए काफी पूरा दिन। उन्होंने किसी ने 200, किसी ने 300, 400 रुपया स्पेंड किया, को आए वापस। और जब वो आए, वो दूसरा पार्ट, परखना सिचुएशन, विचार करना, हम बैठ के कर रहे थे सबके साथ। तो एक ने बोला कि मैं आइसक्रीम वाले के, मैंने एक आइसक्रीम खरीदा और मैंने उससे पूछा कि भैया तुम रहते कहाँ हो, वेयर डू यू। उसने बोला कि ऐसे ऐसी जगह, हमारा कोई नहीं है। तो उससे पूछा इस युवा ने कि तुम्हें प्रॉफिट मिलता है। वो बोला कि दिन में 150-200 रुपया प्रॉफिट में कमाता हूँ। तो फिर कैसे गुजारा चलता है, गुजारा, फिर मतलब द होल रिफ्लेक्शन टेक्स गुड हाफ एन आवर। दिस आइसक्रीम वेंडर आधा घंटा बात किया, तो उसको पता चला। सी, when you ask questions, you know his reality. Otherwise, our life looks very colorful. You look at me now, we are looking very nice with good. But then what is inside, unless we sit and talk, we don't know what's happening in your life, my life. Unless we sit and talk, we don't know. So, बात की, चला, तो क्या किया इस युवा ने, उसको 500 रुपए दिए और बोला सी क्रिसमस है, तुम अपने फैमिली के साथ अच्छा भोजन करो। और वो चला गया। जाते उसने चेहरे पर थी, खुशी थी, he was happy, there was joy on his face. First time maybe somebody gave extra. People normally bargain, कम देके जाते हैं पैसा। पहली बार किसी ने कुछ दिया, देखा ना, फोटो लिया, वो चला गया। ऐसे I had about 25 stories, photos, but we have beautiful memories. Now, if that becomes a culture, judging and then doing something, if everybody does, imagine how beautiful our families will be, how beautiful this society will be, how beautiful our churches will be. So that is what Cardinal Cardine gave us. Church uses it, or all of us, if we follow this methodology, our life will be really meaningful. Thank you very much. That is the review of life, this methodology. Thank you. If you have any questions, if we still have time, take some questions. Thank you.